Good evening, dear friends. Good evening. It's Thursday, and we have made it to almost the end of the week. I hope that it has been a fabulous week for you. And I am excited that you are joining me again tonight for our final live stream on dispelling the myths, right? And what's keeping you from the pivot. So I'm just getting things in order here as I wait on you to join me. Come on in, come on in, come on in, and join me tonight as we talk about our final myth in what is keeping you from the pivot. All right. So just wanted to make sure that everyone could catch this. So if you're joining live, please go ahead and put in the comment where you are joining from. And even if you'd like to, just what your interest is in listening in on this live stream series, what's keeping you from the pivot. So I would love to hear where you are joining from. And if you catch this on a replay, please make sure that you write replay so that I know that you watched. And please make comments. Please make comments. So we've been talking about all week what is keeping you from the pivot. I'm Dr. Michele. I am your transformation strategist, and I assist professional women who want to go for promotion, change their career, or start their business. I encourage them and assist them to be bold. And what that is to break through those obstacles so that they can lead in their destiny. And we do that by helping them reconnect with their true selves, by rediscovering purpose and passion, realigning with values and strengths, and doing a reset. And I'm saying there, and but I'm talking to you, so that you can move from where you are to where you want to be with authentic confidence. And so that is who I am. And again, if you're joining me, please make a comment. Tell me where you're watching from. If you watch on the replay, please make sure that you type in replay and then any comments that you have on what we're discussing. So each night we've talked about a myth, right, that keeps us from doing the pivot. And the first night we talked about needing a degree, right? That you found out that you don't necessarily need a degree. There are ways that you can move forward and even perhaps get assistance from your organization to get your degree. And so it's not so much that you have to have the degree, but you have to be brave enough to move forward with the experience that you have and be confident in that. And then we talked about you don't have what it takes. That's a mindset that we have. And it is a myth because I shared the story of how I came into teaching because at the time I wanted part-time or additional income. And I ended up doing an adjunct teaching position. And here I am 20 years later, still in social work education. And so obviously I had what it took, but I had to believe that. And that's what you have to do. You have to believe that you have what it takes. Okay. The third myth was last night that we talked about, and we talked about it's in who you know. And again, I said it's not in who you know, but it's in who you get to know. And so it's being brave and stepping into the room with confidence and connecting with people. And when you connect with the right people, it opens doors for you. So this is all about you, me, getting up our confidence and moving in outside of the things that hold us back, those beliefs that hold us back, those fears that hold us back, pushing that aside, moving outside of that, and really pushing forward, getting connected with the right people, um, connecting with people who are already at the place where you're trying to get to, um, being more self aware and recognizing what gifts and what strengths and what talents you bring to the table so that you're not doubting that you have what it takes, right? And then putting yourself in positions where you connect. And I suggested last night, volunteer for the committee, volunteer for the task force, always make yourself available to be a part of the initiatives and the things that are going on, because then you become a person, you have a seat at the table, right? And so make yourself available to do that. And you will connect with the people that you need to connect with to get that promotion, move forward in your career, or even start your business. And so those were the three myths we talked about. Tonight's myth, what we're going to talk about is um, it, let me put it up here for you. But you don't look the part. You don't look the part, right? So that's the myth that we're going to talk about tonight. And when I say that, I mean that very practically, that many times because we're women of color, we don't get the positions, we don't get the promotions. Women in general have to do more to get into leadership positions. Women of color, even more so than that. So if you think and believe that you don't look the part, there are some obstacles against you. That is true. But my dispelling that myth is that you may not look the part, but there are women who look like you in leadership positions. And so, because those women who look like you are in leadership positions, it opens a door and it lets you know that you can move into those positions, move into that promotion, change that career, because there are people that look like you that are there. And remember, I said on Monday, my tip was to get connected with somebody who's already where you want to be. And that's why we as women have to come together. We have to build one another up, and we have to encourage one another, and we have to help our sister up, because there's many of us that believe, well, I don't look like, the people in the C-suite, right? But there are people, women like you, like me, women in general, women of color who are in those positions. And so yes, it is possible. I want to give you some statistics that I found in a research study, and this was representation by corporate role, gender and race. And so entry level positions are held by 30% white women, 17% women of color, 17% men of color, 35% white men. Those are entry level. We're going to go up. Management, 28% of those positions are held by white women, 12% by women of color, 17% by men of color, and 42% by white men. We're going to keep going. Senior managers and directors, 27% are held by white women, 9% by women of color, 15% by men of color, and 50% by white men. Those are senior management positions. Vice president positions, 24% are held by white women, 7% by women of color, 13% by men of color, and 56% by white men. Now, if you notice, as we go up, there's more of a disparity between white men and women of color, and the others as well. But I want you to pay attention to that, women and women of color. There's more of a disparity as you move up in these leadership roles. So the senior vice president positions, 22% are held by white women, 5% by women of color, 12% by men of color, and 61% by white men. And then the C suite, 20% are held by white women, 4% by women of color, 13% by men of color, and 62% by white men. So it is a real thing that you may not look the part, but it's also a real thing that there are women of color in these positions. And so we have to again believe and know that if that woman can do it, I can do it too. We can't let the statistics dictate where we're going to fall, what we're going to do. Actually, these statistics should really motivate us to do more, especially if you are in that place where you want that promotion, where you want that career change, where you want to start that business. These things should motivate you to move forward. And we, as women and women of color, need to come together to help one another up. So, in my program, there are a couple things that are really key. It's all important, but a couple of things I want to point out that I think are important for us to prepare the way, or really forge ahead in our desire for promotion, career change, or to start our business. And the first one is that we have to have a personal mission. What's our personal mission? What's our why? What's the goal that we have for ourselves? And what is the foundation of that goal? We don't think about that enough. But in our program, Bold Voice, we talk about your personal mission and your vision for what you want. And then as we talk about that, we progress to you actually using a clear process to establish your plan so that you can take concrete steps to move into the positions that you are desiring. None of this is easy, right? But when you desire something, when you want something, it's not always going to be easy, but it is doable, because I applaud those 4% women of color, those 20% white women who are in the C suite. I applaud them because they didn't give up and they pressed their way in. What do you want? So you've got to come up with a clear, actionable plan to begin to take the steps to move forward in what you want. You've got to develop your confidence. You've got to know what your vision is for your life. You've got to know your why. You've got to get rid of all the wounds, the hurts, the junk that has held you back. We do all of that in my Bold Voice program. And so I want you to schedule your Bold Voice discovery call with me so that I can walk alongside you and you can develop who you are further, because you're already great. You're already amazing. But we're going to dig a little deeper so that you can walk away and walk into what you want, whether it's promoting where you are, whether it's moving into a different career, whether it's starting your business. You're going to walk away from Bold Voice and walk into what you want. In fact, you'll start doing it while you're in the program. So schedule your Bold Voice discovery call with me today, okay? And so really, I just think that it's important for you to recognize that you might not think that you look the part, but it's really, it's not impossible that there are women and women of color who are in the places where you want to be. And more, I read this in Forbes today. It said that organizations are fostering and sustaining strong DEI cultures, that it's become imperative for organizations. And so, any organization that is not forging ahead with DEI is probably behind the eight ball, because inclusivity and DEI are critical parts right now of every organization, every organization. So use that as leverage to go ahead and start moving. Move now, right? Don't wait until it looks a certain way or you think it's going to be better. Move now on your plan so that you can start to forge ahead and you can help up the numbers, right? You can help up the numbers. You can help more than 20% of white women to be in the C suite. You can help more than 4% of women of color to be in the C suite. You can be in the C suite if that's what you desire. Okay. So that is the myth that we are debunking tonight, that you don't look the part. You don't have to look the part. You have to have the plan to get to where you want to be. Yes, obstacles will come in your way, but yes, it's possible. These statistics tell me it's possible, because if it wasn't possible, it would be zero women, right, in any of these roles. But they are there, all right, and they're forging and have forged the way for you and for me. All right. So, really, I want you to schedule your Bold Voice Discovery call. The link is in the comment. If you're not seeing the link, I will make sure that I go back and put the link in the comments so that you can schedule that time, that call with me. But just know that there is no reason why you cannot go ahead and make the pivot, right? There, what we've talked about all week that's keeping you from the pivot, it doesn't have to be so. All of the things that we've talked about, I've shared with you how those things do not have to be the truth. They're the myth. They're not the truth. Okay. So I'm just encouraging you to go ahead, even before this year is out, if you're ready to get that promotion, change that career, start your business. Let's go down this road. Let me support you in that. So make sure that you get on the Bold Voice Discovery call with me, and we will talk about your plan, going through so that you have your plan to move ahead, to get to wherever it is that you desire to be, right? So it's been my pleasure to do this week. It's been fun, and I hope that it's been helpful and it's been information that has encouraged you to go ahead and just take those steps. What are you waiting for? No need to wait. Just go ahead and take those steps, and let me support you in doing that. So I hope that you all have an amazing, amazing weekend, amazing Friday, and this weekend. And that if you didn't get to watch parts 1, 2, and 3, they're on my profile page. Go and watch each part as we talked about each of these myths that are keeping you from the pivot. But just know that you have what it takes, right? And I'm here to assist you to pull all of that out so that you can move from where you are to where you want to be with confidence. So thank you for joining me. Look for my next live stream series coming up maybe in a few weeks. But I'm going to look forward to meeting you on the Bold Voice Discovery call. So have a great night. Have a great weekend. Dr. Michele here signing off, and I will talk to you very soon. Have a good night.